Today on Film Friday, I take a look at the 2020 film, Freaky. Let's begin.
1, 2, 7, 8, fly like a witch. Drink my lemonade, lick my lips. 9, 10, 11.
Freaky is a slasher horror comedy directed by Christopher Langdon and written by both Langdon and Michael Kennedy. It tells the story of Millie Kessler, a student at Blissville Valley High School who's pretty attractive according to modern-day conventional European beauty standards, but is bullied by the mean girls, the jocks, and even the teachers of her school because of things like her low self-esteem and where she currently is mentally due to the loss of her father. Then one Thursday night, she's attacked by a serial killer called the Blissfield Butcher, who has gained the title of urban legend since the 1990s. He stabs her with a Mayan tribal knife that on the following Friday causes them to switch bodies with each other. And in order for her to get things back to normal, she has to stab him again before the day is over, or she'll be trapped in the body of the Blissfield Butcher forever.
I want my body back.
Come and get it.
Now, you would think that because I'm a fan of Scream's meta commentary on the slasher subgenre of horror, that I would naturally flock to a horror comedy like Freaky. That's not necessarily true. The reason why I adore the Scream franchise as much as I do is because it's a meta breakdown of the slasher genre, and there's a huge difference between a meta-narrative and a parody narrative. Meta-narratives like Scream break down and explain the tropes that typically make up the genre it's in. Parody makes fun of the tropes associated with it and poke fun at the genre overall. So just because I enjoy Scream, which is a franchise that focuses on the meta of slasher horror, doesn't necessarily I actively enjoy, let's say, Scary Movie, which is a franchise that parodies horror or suspense movies overall. So does that mean that Freaky was never on my radar? Not necessarily. I promise you I'm not trying to be complicated here. I just saw this as a good teaching moment, okay? Don't get me wrong, I was genuinely interested in the movie when it was first announced. A slasher take on the concept of Freaky Friday I felt was something I could successfully get into considering my appreciation of the genre, while at the same time being able to turn my brain off and enjoy it for what it is because it's not meant to be taken seriously. But let's just be real here. This is me we're talking about. That last bit is damn near impossible at this point. So let's spice things up a bit and start with my critique regarding the film first, before I explain how this film caught me off guard. Because I assure you readers, this film did catch me off guard. What? What do you mean I'm only starting off with the bad stuff first because I wrote this script at 1 in the morning and I'm too tired to think of a proper transition to it after talking about the stuff I like? Stop being weird, you're being weird. Anyway, when it came to me potentially watching this movie in theaters, two things got in my way from doing so. The most obvious being COVID during its theatrical release in November of 2020. The second one, however, was in the trailer that I saw when this scene happened.
You're black! I'm gay! We are so dead!
Yeah, it's just weird. I just don't know why I never got around to watching it. Alright. So there's a possibility that someone's going to see my reaction to the character of Josh Detmer and say, oh great, another masked queer dude tired of seeing femme queer dudes in movies. How original. First of all, let's just get this out the way now. Me? 100% mask? I couldn't. Impossible. Not in the cards. Second of all, what I'm actually tired of are cishet male writers constantly using the stereotypical use of femme-queer male-identifying individuals to subconsciously help push the mask-femme divide within the male-identifying queer community, just because they find the sassiness and flamboyancy of the character trope as a vehicle to enhance the story's comedy.
Joshua, you are many things, but straight isn't one of them. Now do me a favor and untie her.
Whenever it's presented on film, it never feels genuine. It never feels like it's part of their actual character personality. It always feels like it's tacked on for the sake of comedy, because the very idea of a cisgendered male tapping into femininity of any kind in any way is still considered so unorthodox to a significant portion of straight folks that they have no way of interpreting it other than comedy, and I am tired. Like, the only time I've seen this happen successfully is in the form of Lafayette Reynolds in True Blood, and I haven't really seen it happen again since. However, I'm happy to report that this is pretty much the only gripe with the movie that I actually have, because everything else that one could have a problem with this film is handled in ways that is either intentionally clever or says more about the writers and director than actually deserved of them. What do I mean by that? You'll see in a minute. So while I did enjoy the majority of Freaky, I'm all for admitting that I was absolutely unprepared for how much I was going to get out of this relatively simple plot. Usually, the point of body swap plots is so the characters affected by the old switcheroo can learn to appreciate each other better now that they've walked a mile in their shoes. Whether it's the appreciation of a mother-daughter relationship like Freaky Friday, a father-son one like Vice Versa, or the non-horror version of this film, The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider. Listen, I said it's the non-horror version of Freaky, not a better version of Freaky. I think we can all agree that The Hot Chick was garbage. But because the individual that Millie body swaps with is a serial killer that has shown to be incapable of any character development at all, the ensuing hijinks that the genre provides us with allows the movie to actually be kinda low-key brilliant in how it thinks outside the box that the genre usually places itself in. On one hand, you have Millie. Constantly bullied, lacking self-esteem, doesn't know how to talk to her mom regarding the things that she wants, and feels guilty because of it due to her dad dying and feeling she needs her around as a support network. It's a goal of hers that the movie pretty bluntly acknowledges she wants to accomplish near the beginning of it.
I don't want you to wake up one morning and realize your whole life passed you by because you were busy being everything to everyone but you.
So by the time that she's in the body of the Blissfield Butcher, a character we or she is in no way supposed to relate to, we see her experience something completely different from the typical now you know and appreciate what it's like to be me story beat that the genre usually focuses on. Instead, being in the body of the Blissfield Butcher causes her to experience what it feels like to be in a body that doesn't highlight her insecurities and lets her know how it feels for them to not even be part of the equation. She can intimidate the whack kids that have been giving her grief since she's been in high school.
If you ever mess with Millie Kessler or any other kid again, I swear I'll make you wish your buggy, wormy, stupid face was never born. You got it?
She knows what it feels like to be strong and powerful.
Oh God, I'm strong.
And my personal favorite, because she's in a body that has a voice that's not her own, Millie's able to use it to her advantage in order to let her mom know what she wants without the worry of hurting her due to her shared tragedy of the loss of her father.
Maybe she just needs some space. Just some time to figure out who she is.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily body dysmorphia because she does want her body back at the end of the day and is 100% focused on achieving that goal the moment she finds out that she has until midnight to switch back. But because there really isn't anything about the Blissfield Butcher to redeem, we have ample amount of time to focus on Millie and how she finds a way to not only navigate her desires through this new outlet, but also experience her learn that she's just as capable of being strong, confident, and all the other things she experiences by being in his body in her own. And then there's the Blissfield Butcher. More importantly, there's the Blissfield Butcher inside Millie's body, and how quickly he learned how to weaponize whiteness. What, you thought I wasn't going to take it there? How could I not take it there? It's such an obvious and interesting dive. First off, let's examine how easy it is for the Blissfield Butcher to assimilate into the school using Millie's body. The clothes he wears, the attitude that attracts those that barely paid any mind originally. He immediately made the decision to utilize her sexuality the moment he discovered he, as Millie, could murder more students by going to school.
You're not thinking of going to school, are you?
Then, after killing Millie's shop teacher, Mr. Bernardi, in a way that made him realize that there's definitely a difference in strength between his original middle-aged body of a man and that of a high school girl, he learns just how much different type of power he has in Millie's body. And he learns it the moment he leaves the classroom, and two officers nod before continuing to walk down the hallway. Now, some might have seen that scene and went like, oh yeah, he's in Millie's body, who was a high school student. Of course they're not gonna pay her any mind if they think the Blissfield Butcher is this middle-aged white dude. But what I saw in that instance is someone learning what all they can get away with in a movie that's already self-aware enough to know that a black student wouldn't be offered the same luxury, now that they were in a body that could easily sway the right people to their side against the word or presence of another. And I got my confirmation of that when I saw what the Butcher did when the two saw each other in their new bodies for the first time. This right here made me start watching this movie in a brand new light immediately. And the thing about it is that as the movie went on, the Butcher continued to test the limits of the privilege that came with being in the body of a young white woman, getting people to side with him.
Okay, what is going on here?
Coercing the jocks that originally were too busy making fun of Billy to wrap around his finger once he started utilizing her sexuality in order to do so. He milked Millie's sexuality and privilege for everything it was worth the moment he realized how easy it was to use it as both a weapon and a defense tactic. So much so that despite hating being in her body because he no longer had access to his strength,
Body's fucking useless!
he was willing to do whatever it took to keep Millie from completing the ritual in time because he was now aware of how effective her privilege has been for him. One can even interpret the way he addressed Millie after her crush found out about the situation as his way of mocking her for being too scared and insecure to use the arsenal she had at her disposal.
You pathetic coward.
The moment I noticed not only this aspect of the film, but also the fact that I originally made that it subverted the development trope usually associated with body swap narratives, I was all like, wait a minute, is this movie actually brilliant? Is this the best accidental social commentary I've seen in a horror comedy? Were Langdon and Kennedy aware that this aspect of the story could be interpreted this way when they made the movie? Am I the only one who noticed this? I can't be the only one who noticed this. Does this make me happy? Yes. Not only has Freaky used the opportunity it had to subvert the traditional body swap tropes of compromise and understanding by allowing us to focus on Millie's development and happiness first and foremost, but the statement it just so happens to make on white privilege and how quickly it can be utilized in a dangerous and deadly way if one is aware that they have it is absolutely astounding. The only thing that was missing was Josh's character feeling authentic in his queerness from beginning to end, instead of feeling like a bundle of stereotypical male-identifying femme queer tropes for the sake of laughs. But if I can get through that one aspect of this movie in order to enjoy what it was able to deliver, then I am absolutely sure that you can as well. Who knows? Because queerness is not a monolith, you may actually disagree with me regarding Josh, and that is absolutely fine. What I'm trying to say is that if you feel in any way similar to me regarding the issue, don't let it stand in the way of you seeing how good Freaky can be. Both intentionally and possibly unintentionally? I don't know, the jury's still out on that one. Right now, you can stream Freaky on HBO Max. But if you want to own it and also help financially support the channel, I'll have an affiliate link for you in the description down below. So with that being said, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below what you thought of Freaky if you've seen it. Film Friday is possible thanks to my generous supporters over on Patreon. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, you can join it by clicking the card at the end of the video or in the link in the description down below, where you can also find a link to my merchandise store. Or if you prefer to give a one-time donation, you can find links to my PayPal and my Ko-fi account in the description box as well. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.